Good morning, John Wright here again from Wilcom. This morning I'm at beautiful Warana Beach here on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. It is the 1st of April and we're almost in lockdown here in this country with this coronavirus. I would like to wish everybody worldwide the very best of luck. Please stay home, be safe, and let's get over this thing as quickly as we possibly can. Anyway, as I said, it's about a week before Easter. I thought we'd look at some motif designs in this lovely Easter egg design. I'd like to show you the 4 methods of using motifs. You can use individual motifs as stamps, as motif runs, as motif columns, and motif fills. So in the next part of the video, I'll look at using a motif as a stamp and show you how to create one. Okay, here we are back again. I'd like to show you how to use the motif tools or motif designs as a stamping tool to just stamp individual motifs on your work area. First of all, you need to activate the motif properties. So the easiest way to do that is either go to your outline toolbar and right click on the motif run icon. Alternatively, you could have done the same thing by going to your outline tool and right clicking on your motif run there. It brings you to the same place. And here you've got a whole number of sets of designs in the motif library. Let's select the nature set and we'll select a leaf. Now it's interesting to note, see the little side arrow here? If we go to the drop down, we've got a lot of sort of meaningless numbers. If we go to push that arrow outwards, it gives you a representation of each of these. So these numbers correspond with these shapes. So I'll select the leaf, and once that's been selected, come back over to, it's just called use motif, it may be better called motif stamp tool. Select that, and the way to create the motif on your work area is simply click, and you'll see on a rotation point, and then you can rotate the design and click, and the motif will be stamped into your work area. Once you've done the first one, just move the icon to where you want the next one placed and hit the space bar or the enter key. Okay, let's go back. The next function is left click on the rotation point. Now you can rotate the leaf, and if you hold the shift key down, you can resize it and left click once again. So it's click, shift key to resize, and just move the mouse to rotate and left click and release to create the stamp, the motif stamp. Okay, now if I wanted to resize the motif, you'll see because I've got auto scroll turned on, I can't remove the mouse from the work area, but holding the shift key down will allow me to leave the work area and come over here and change the size of the motif. So I'll change it to say 35 millimeters, and because the little lock's closed here, it's going to proportionally change the size of the leaf. So we'll come back onto the work area. Now it's not evident that we've made a change yet until I click, and you'll see the motif comes in at the new size of 35 millimeters. One thing to note is that the rotation point and the end point have moved away from the leaf. With the change of size, the first 2 points, the reference points, have remained where they were and the leaves moved off them. So just be aware of that. You can still rotate, but you're rotating from down here rather than the end of the leaf. I'll hold the shift key down. I can still resize as we could before. Okay, now to stop creating the motifs, hit the escape key and we're back into a neutral position. We can then select another motif, select the stamp tool again, and click, rotate, shift to resize, and continue to drop motifs on our work area. Okay, here we're on a new screen. I've just created a flower with some maize fill in it. The background is a vector file which will be screen printed, and then we'll put some maize fill over the top of it. And I just want to put some falling leaves off the flower. So with our leaf selected in our motif from the motif set, I'll select the manual tool and click, rotate, click again, click, rotate, click again, click, spacebar, 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 click, shift, rotate, click, click, shift, rotate, click, click, rotate, click, spacebar, spacebar. So you can see there's a couple of methods of applying the motif to your design. Alternatively, you can use the enter key rather than the spacebar. Shift, drag, click. Okay, so I hit the escape key and I just want to add a little bit of color. So I'll use my select tool and I'll select, holding the control key down, that's collecting different leaves. I'll come down to my color palette and just change the colors of a few of those to make a more interesting design. Okay, so what we probably should look at now is how do we actually create a motif. So I'll make a new work area. I'll turn the grid on just to give me some reference point. I'll rolling my mouse forward. I'll select my running stitch tool and you can make any sort of shape. I'll make something fairly simple. I'm holding the control key down to keep my line nice and horizontal. Then a right click, 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 and I'll come back down to in line with the first two clicks. You can see I've got the crosshair cursor in use at the moment, which makes it easier to line up. Then click again to finish my motif and hit enter. So all I've done is created a little curly line of running stitch. Now, if with it selected, go up to my object menu and create a motif. Now, I've created a few libraries here, or a few sets, so I can select one of these or I can create a new one. So I'll create a new set and I'll call it lines, whatever name. Okay, and now it's asked me what you want to call this particular motif, and I'll call it line 1 and okay. Now if you look in your prompt bar down the bottom here, it's saying enter start point of the reference line. So you've got to click 2 points in. There's the start point and click again for the end point. Now it's giving me a message to say that my motif line 1 has been created. Okay, and we're ready to use it. So if I select the motif tool, click, shift to make it larger, rotate, click, 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 click. So they're the reference lines that I referred to earlier with the leaf. If I hold the shift key down, actually what I need to do now is to activate the properties of the motif. And there you can see that it's in my list. And what I was going to do was show you how to change the size of it. So click, click. Now I want to change the size of this motif. So I'll hold the shift key to move myself off the work area and I can change it to say 15 millimeters. Now it's going to proportionally change the size of it. We don't have to worry about the spacing here. The spacing is used when we're creating lines of running stitch. So we don't need to be concerned about that at the moment, nor any of these other settings for the moment. We'll come back and click, rotate, click. Now this is what I was saying before. I've made a very large difference in the size of this logo, and you see the reference point is well below the logo now. So it's a little inconvenient, but it still works on the same principle. And hit escape to end that. So I hope that's helped. And where are we? Falling leaves. Back here to our falling leaves design. So you can see how nice and easy it is to create your motif and add them to any of your designs just by stamping them on the work area. Okay, so next part of the video we'll look at motif runs. Actually, I'll finish this video now to give you time to have a practice and a play with these things that we've discussed. And in the next video, we'll move on to the other three components, the running motif, the column motif, and the fill motif. But please, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see a photograph of where you live, your workplace, or what's happening in your part of the world. You can take a photograph with your phone and submit it on the form at the bottom of the blog where I will include this article. See you in the next video, and thanks for watching.